Hey everybody. Uh, Something that I got to bring up is weapons ban in Chicago that has been approved. I don't think the bill has been processed yet or is in effect yet, but it's been approved. AR-15s, AK-47s, all these combative weapons are now banned in the city of Chicago. Those who already bought them have to register them. Those who are in possession of them and all that, including I think ghost guns, which I don't see a problem with. I mean, if you're gonna make a gun, make it, register it, no differently than if you're gonna make your own car, you know, register it and make it pass inspection and all this good stuff. And I don't really know if that's the regulation on guns. I've fired them, but I've never owned any. And even if I did, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I wouldn't have a problem with having to take it to an inspection and then register it and all that good stuff. Um, Kind of like a car. Here's the thing, though. Hardly anybody's really done something like this, and it's still kind of questionable as to whether or not it's going to work. Um, for one, I think it's mostly in Chicago, but it's possible the entire state of Illinois um, has a weapons ban to where you can't own any more uh, combative weapons unless you've already bought them and you've registered them to where the state administration knows, which gun that you have, which gun belongs to who, so to say. Which, taking a step back and looking at it, it should give a good helping hand to forensics and detectives and all them who are trying to piece together and put the gun into the killer's hand, so to say, when a combative firearm is fired. The flip side to that is uh, pistols, Glocks, handguns might take the place of combative firearms, because in the 1980s and 90s we went through this before. Late 80s, early 90s, starting with Ronald Reagan into Bush Senior presidency, and then into the Clintons. Uh, we already had this kind of tactic being performed, where combative weapons were not permissible. Back then, I think the top dog was the M16. um, M16s were no longer available to be fired upon in our country, and that was fined by the street people and gangsters and all them, because they found pistols to be more effective, particularly the Glocks. At the time they were less expensive, and they could fire whatever range that you know use. If you had one designed for 45, you could shoot a 45 Glock. If you had one for 22, same thing. And it turned out to be a whole lot more productive and all that. Gun sales went through the roof as far as Glocks and handguns were concerned. So there's a possible chance of an ugly flip side to this ban in Chicago, if not the entire state of Illinois. There's possibility of an ugly flip side, where people who use firearms for crime and all this and hate and all this other stuff, they'll just be switching it to a different firearm. You know, Combative styled weapons is not clear, though. We know for certain the actual combative weapons, the AR-15 and the AK-47, maybe even the AK-74s, will be banned. Bullpups, however, I'm not really sure, because bullpups are just basically shortened, bulkier shotguns. PCCs, pistol carbines, it's possible that they might be banned, just simply because the PCCs take a shape of a combative styled weapon, despite the fact that it's not exactly a combative styled weapon. And the difference, for those of you who are not gun fan. Like I'm not no gun buff and all that, but I can tell the difference between somebody shooting a bullet that could go into your windshield or your window, and that impact, depending on the angle, might change the projectile's angle at the same time once going through a window or a windshield of a car. If not just plain deadened the impact, and the bullet just simply drops as opposed to redirects. That would be something like a PCC, okay? A combative firearm will go through your window, will go through your windshield, and actually hit who who it was aiming for, you know, and possibly through that person to the person behind him or her. That's the difference between combative styled and PCC, combative guns and combative styled guns. You know, I'm quite curious to see how it goes. You know, my prediction is, yeah, we'll see a low death count of killings committed by combative weapons, but we'll see an upscale done by the lesser, easier to obtain weapons, the PCCs and actual handguns, you know. That's my prediction. It's going to be the 1990s all over again as far as killings go with guns. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. The only part that really actually favors my attention, that really hits me in favor, is the actual registration and owning of the guns. Because even if a crime is committed by somebody who the owner says, well, it was stolen, you know, the detectives at least still has a few people to go by with people that were associated with that gun owner who said, well, my gun was stolen, you know. And if they could catch him on a lie, you know, then yeah, I mean, you know, their believable case or something. You know, the case might not be believable, their testimony. You could, you know, capture him as well. The good thing about the registration and all that is just that it just plain helps, and referring that to the automobiles is the exact same way. There's a few traffickers that will make a break for it and that are still being hunted down because although they crashed their vehicle, you know, they're unregistered vehicles, you know, or they were reported stolen, you know, sometime back and stuff. And that complicates things. What isn't a complication is when you can put a name to the face, to the car, to the, you know, and all that good stuff, or the associate or whatever. It was stolen. Yeah, but we caught the guy. And you have to be just as guilty, or you have to press charges on that guy. Well, I don't want to press charges. Why not? Is it because of the Facebook page where you two are buddies, arm in arm, beer drinking and all this good stuff, and actually talking and texting each other and all this crap about the job, you know? And of course, that's just the cop being a smart ass and arresting the actual owner of the vehicle. And that's just one scenario, you know. I'm not saying that it's going to be an all God-saving whatever. I am saying it's going to help out a lot with any kind of criminal acts that has been created, especially with a lot of hate crimes going on more and more in this time. Okay? There's a lot more hate crimes that are being committed, and they're choosing to use this type of weapon. Okay? So again, I'm not saying that it's going to be an answer to all our prayers, but it just helps. It just helps law enforcement. It helps ascertain the criminals and all this good stuff. And it has to have those who, with a God complex, from hate-driven mission to God complex, they now have to rethink, what they want to do in order to carry on through. And again, it could be that it's just going to be a reversal of, or rather a preference to a different choice of weapon, So that's a long story, but who knows? I mean, right now it just barely passed. The law just barely passed. We don't have any kind of data to collect on it. We can't really say that it's actually come out this way. But I just wanted to let you know right here, mid-August of 2023, that it's something has been done. We got to have a little patience. Who knows? We might be able to see some kind of results, positive or negative. It doesn't really matter. Just the simple fact that there's going to be results to be shown. And honestly, I think it should be a good benefit for all of us. I think no matter what pathway it goes, So that's the long and the short of it. Hope everybody out there is doing well, and thank you so much for watching the show. If you can, like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. I don't really have a format formed yet, still, but I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it, and still doing my research. It's taking a little while, but yeah, it just seems that with everybody already making their choice, it just seems better that people like you and I get to have a voice stating what everything is on common sense, on common ground, as opposed to just going, it's destroying America, to this is God said. No, it's neither nor. Yeah, so that's it for today. Y'all take care. Y'all take it easy. Y'all have a good one. Stay safe out there. This is Chris Comets signing out.